In addition to Israeli PM Bibi Netanyahu, there's another important speech given before the UN last week as they convened in New York. And that was by Argentinian President Javier Milei, who continues to advance the flag for free minds and free markets. And he is willing to advance that flag even in a place that is generally hostile to it, like the UN. Here's in part what he had to say, but I would encourage people to go online and watch his full 15-minute speech.
The same thing always happens with ideas that come from the left. Is they're designing a model in line with what human beings should do, and when individuals freely decide to act otherwise, they have no better solution than to restrict, repress, or cut off their freedom. In Argentina, we've seen with our own eyes what they have done at the end of this path of envy and sad passion, poverty, anarchy, and a total lack of liberty. We still have time to choose another direction. I want to be clear so that there's no poor misunderstanding here. Argentina is going through a profound process of change currently, has decided to embrace the ideas of freedom. These are ideas that say that all citizens are born free and equal before the law, that we have inalienable rights granted by our Creator. To life, to freedom, and to property. These principles that are setting the framework of the process of change that we're undertaking in Argentina are also the principles that will guide our international conduct from now on. We believe in the defense of life for all. We believe in the defense of property for all. We believe in freedom of expression for all. We believe in freedom of worship for all. We believe in freedom of trade for all. And we believe in limited government, all.
In other words, we believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It used to be a calling card of this country. It used to be. By the way, that was obviously a translator. Milei is not transitioning.
Okay, he's not becoming Martha.
Just to make it clear. Yes. I bring this up because Kim Strassel had a piece in the Journal the other day in which she talked about the Trump campaign messaging. And basically her argument was that Trump is in a dead heat with Kamala Harris because his campaign lacks a topic sentence. Milei has one. By contrast, if you accept Strassel's viewpoint, which I do, I don't necessarily agree with what she thinks the topic sentence should be. But in the last 4.5 weeks before the election, the topic sentence, the big question, do we have clarity on that from Trump? To help us wrestle with that topic and others, we're pleased to be joined by Scott McKay, publisher of the Hayride, senior editor at the American Spectator, and author of the book Racism, Revenge, and Ruin, as well as King of the Jungle. Scott, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. And happy Monday to you.
Yes. Trump lacks a topic sentence. Do you concur?
Well, I'll say this. I'm not as satisfied with Trump's topic sentence as I could be, because to me, ever since RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard came on board, this is the ruling class versus the country class in as clear a relief as you can get as a referendum where this election is concerned. And Trump is the candidate of the country class. And so, your topic sentence is, hey, we've got to reclaim our country from this deep state, incompetent ruling elite, and I'm the only real choice you have in order to fight that war. And so you got to vote for me because Kamala Harris is a ruling class puppet. Like, to me, that is it. And I think there is a significant majority that can be had if you can get that message across between now and November 5th.
Well, don't you think she'll say anything she wants to try and get into office and then go back to her original policies on climate change, on fracking?
I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, she is everything that people hate about politicians, as Joe Biden was. I mean, these are people that have I'm not going to say they don't have any principles, because they do. Their principle is political power. mean, like, and anything that results in getting more is a good thing, regardless of what effect it has on the people you have power over. They're not for doing good for their constituents or voters or the country at large. They're for perpetuating their own power, influence, the grifts that come from that, and so, you know, all of their policies run from that. And of course, they'll lie about anything. And Kamala Harris lies about working at McDonald's. That's how bad off. I mean, prior to her, I don't think that it was ever contemplated by an American politician that lying about having a job at McDonald's was a path to power or influence or popularity until she came along. And so we're in a little different place than we've ever been.
Yeah, well, she was raised in a middle-class family. Scott, I don't know if you've heard. The so
heard that allegation.
So you're seeing the same thing everybody else is saying, which is when you look at the horse race and the polling that comes out every like quarter hour. You know, Trump takes the lead in a majority of the battleground states. No, Kamala takes the lead in a majority of the it goes back and forth. So what's your handle on the race right now? What do you think?
Well, I don't think you can poll anymore at the standard that, you know, we're all used to, right? Polling became a thing when you could hit up everybody's landline and at dinner time and get people on the phone answering. Right now, you don't, because everybody has caller ID. Everybody's getting spammed, and so if you don't recognize the name on the caller ID, you generally don't answer the phone. And so now they're having to splice in online surveys. They send you a text with a link that you have to go to, and then you can answer their poll. And I just don't think it's overly scientific, and I think you run into a lot of problems with response bias. Because, and they've studied this, and it's actually real. Old white left-wing ladies answer every single poll, and they skew all of the numbers. So and everybody else is generally either too busy or doesn't really believe in polling, and so like you have to get in front of so many people to get an even remotely accurate poll done that I don't know if it's even possible to get accurate polling.
No.
So I like all of that makes me just tune the polls out completely. I think it's a close race. I think all of the dynamics of 2020 are still there, except Trump is clearly doing better than he was in 2020. And so there is reason to believe, regardless of all of this, that Trump's probably in this race, but you never, ever, ever assume that you're going to beat a Democrat, because a Democrat, generally speaking, will do whatever it takes to win, with no limitations on that.
Well, tomorrow night's the VP debate, and I know a lot of people don't vote for president on who they pick for VP, but two people I would never want to debate is Dan Proft or J.D. Vance. Are you there, Scott? Oh.
Did we lose Scott?
Yeah, we...
Oh, Scott, you're cutting out on us there. You're going to readjust your satellite
But according
phone.
to CNN, they said Tim Walz is very nervous about this debate, and they've been using Pete Buttigieg to be a J.D. Vance stand-in
that's
the weekend after he left the Michigan game.
That's a close approximation. P-Butt for J.D. Vance? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Do we have Scott or Scott gone? Oh, okay. All right. Well, we had Scott for a time. It was enjoyable.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. Call 800-823-5544. That's 800-823-5544. 800-823-5544.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, we're back. Do we have Scott McKay again? Scott, are you with us?
I'm here.
Okay. I don't know. So anyway, the question that was left hanging when you cut out was your prognostication about how tomorrow night's VP debate will go.
Well, look, of the four on the campaign trail right now, J.D. Vance has been the best and the most effective. Now, whether that's going to translate into a great performance at the debate, I can't say. But, Tim Walz is, I mean, the latest news on Tim Walz is that he's at the Michigan-Minnesota game, and he got pretty roundly booed by the audience. So I don't know that Tim Walz is reaching the target audience that he was supposed to.
Was he coaching the Golden Gophers on Saturday? Did he coach?
I don't know.
He wasn't even wearing the Minnesota colors. He was wearing Michigan colors. That is such a turncoat. You don't do that when you're governor of a state. Yeah. But anyway, on the way out, he allegedly flipped off some fans. So I can't wait for J.D. Vance to get under his skin tomorrow night.
I think that Vance, because Vance has a good way about him for doing that. He's a very effective troll when he wants to be, and I think that people won't be put off by that because they kind of expect it from him now. And so Vance can be as snarky and as disrespectful as he wants, and I think people will just generally respect the show. So I think getting under Walz's skin and baiting him into coming off as the creep he is key for Vance. And I think that most people, it's the VP debate, so you might as well do it, right? You don't have to come off as presidential in this. So, this could be the most fun of the bunch.
Well, to your point, too, about ruling class versus country class, I'd love J.D. Vance to press Tim Walz on. So I just want, to understand it. Growing up as a poor kid in Appalachia and making my way to State University, Ohio State, and then making my way to Yale Law School and finding some success in business, that makes me a sellout? Those aren't good things in Tim Walz's America?
Well, and add to that, it's like, China didn't pay for me to take 30 trips there.
Yeah.
If you want to talk sellout, then maybe you can explain that. To me, that has not been given the oxygen that it needs. This guy got paid by China to take 30 separate trips there, and he apparently was giving out Mao's red book to the school kids that he was bringing to China. Okay, I mean, this is a totally obscure kind of Dennis Miller quality reference. But if you guys ever saw Volunteers with Tom Hanks, like that movie from back in the 80s,
yeah, of course.
Tim Walz is Tom Tuttle from Tacoma, Washington, that John Candy played in the Chinese turn,
right.
And he becomes a Manchurian candidate that spouts Mao's quotes all day long. That's who Tim Walz is. And I think that it would be a good idea to make him out to be that guy, because he's very clearly that. I mean, he governs Minnesota as though he was a Maoist, and he's got this history that needs to be exploited.
Scott McKay, publisher of the Hayride, senior editor of the American Spectator, and author of the books Racism, Revenge, and Ruin, as well as King of the Jungle. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.